Okay. All right. This is from last week, if you remember, if you were here. What did we cover last week? Any comments on last week before we move into this week? Whatever we covered last week.
We had no class last week, so.
Huh?
We had no.
Oh, no class last week. The week before. That goes way back. That's why I don't remember it so long ago. Anything on the last time you were here? Tonight will be a bit of a continuation, I believe, of this layout, a different diagram coming up. But we're talking about the character and the situation. The other way, situation and character. Okay, no comments on that. Let's grab this tape.
Yeah, it's good.
There we go. Ta-da! Let me explain this. Just sort of the same as last week. The sense of energy is going out and energies coming back. So again, I presented that as the character's energies to his situation, the situation energies back to the character. And that's all that fancy arrows are. One field of energy and its responding field of energy. Okay. And we're at this level calling it the character and the situation and character. I'll get into what that color's about after a little bit. As we get harmony, more than harmony, a blended harmony between these two forces. Okay. A blended harmony between these two forces experientially, so not just the idea, that's a starting place. This is a starting place. Oh, look at that picture. What's it mean? Then we begin to settle, open, begin to sort of get a rough feeling for it. We settle, open, we get a finer feeling for it. Finer feeling to experiential feeling, actual experience of this, okay? So we start with an idea, a presentation, a diagram. Yeah. And to understand that, a certain amount, yeah, okay. OSensei would, for me, refer to that as like a library, certain amount of information. Then the next phase is the laboratory of funning around with this stuff, funning around with the beats, okay. Then more fully experientially referred to as like a gymnasium, where it's a full experience. Okay, so a library, a laboratory, and a gymnasium. And I kind of like that, the way he used that with me. Does that make any sense to anybody?
Yeah. Library.
Okay. Unified field is a phrase Moon likes, so I thought I'd borrow it tonight and give it a shot. The harmony, blending mix of those two forces, okay, fields of energy. We call that a unified field, I believe. Right. So the word struck me today when I was talking to him, so I borrowed it. Unified field, okay, the harmony, the blended harmony, and then the idea of it, the feeling that you can do easy, finer feeling, sensing experience, finer sensing experience. Okay. Where the hell are we? Roughly, is that sort of okay? Where are you with that?
Well, Sensei, the title tonight was Harmonizing Character and Situation as Two Fields of Energy.
Okay. Two fields of energy. We need a good starting place, okay? So I'm going to present this as at that unified field or harmonious blend of the two as being a good starting place, a good doorway, okay? And roughly we could call that the character. And then when it's there, position right, proper, right, the experience of it, then continuing into more original, another word that OSensei threw at me that I really like more and more original. In a certain way, we're not going for the next finer and the next finer and the next finer. We're saying, yeah, I practiced with some of those, Bobby, Robert, Nadeau, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 by 5, 18 by, yes. But now I call it cut to the chase. Let's go for more original, okay? So as you get this lineup, this harmony of character and situation and character, experiential, where they're blending, harmonizing, this unified field, okay? Then if we hit a pretty good level, the sense of a self, and that's what that color is, it just represents. Underneath all of this is a self, okay? So we get a good character, a full character, situation and character. I'm calling a full character. And more original, the self that's there can begin to show. So that unified field, harmony, blend is a doorway to the next underlying piece where the self can show. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I said a lot. Did you catch anything I said? That I confuse you with anything? Where'd my drink go? There it is.
Sensei, Bob here.
Hey, Bob there.
The thing that really stuck with me in terms of what you just said is that the work with the character is good, but it has a limited lifespan in the sense that you get a good character going, and then if you try to fine tune it, that could go on practically forever, and you would miss the opportunity for experiencing self.
Yes. We also call that the linear style. I'll have to do a little sketch on that one day. But the finer defines the Bobby, to Robert, to Nadeau, to Sensei, to the great Sensei, to the to the DT. We need some practice there. So that's why we've presented 1 by 2 by 3 by bad day, fair day, good day, great day, to get a little practice with that. Okay. But then there's a certain point where you got a pretty good sense you've been experiencing, let's hope, these changes. And then it's like, enough is enough. Let's cut to the chase. Let's go more original. That's inner finer again, but to more original, in this case, underlying self, the self that's there. Okay. Did we diverge into a different topic? Doesn't matter. And the self that's there has its own energies, let's say, and it will highlight, enhance. It will enhance the energies of the situation, has its own energies, and character has its own energies. When we harmonize those, blend those, unified field with those, okay, a fair amount of energy there. But when you touch the underlying self, it has its own energy. So there's an enhancement possibility, an enhancement possibility. Autumn, you got that? This is important. We presented this to you, I think, before, that if we can get that, all those lined up right, you should be special as you meant to be. Autumn, did you hear me?
Yes, Sensei.
Thank you. And for everybody, not just Autumn, for all of you. If I pick a person, I'm talking to everybody. Okay. Where the hell are we? Okay.
Self-enhancing the energies of the character and the situation.
To start with, yeah, you're in a situation that has energies, and your character will respond, the centered character will respond to that. Okay. Either it'll scare you, or it'll excite you, or it'll enhance you. Okay, but let's get to the enhancement part, because that's the real thing. That this field of energy and this field of energy are by law trying to harmonize, okay, with each other to be a unified field, okay, or to be that set. And I'm calling that set a very good set to continue doing some really advanced work. That's why I brought up the self that underlies all of this. We're not going to major in self tonight, but I just want to mention it, that's the direction we're going. More original, as opposed to finer and finer and finer. Blah, 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 blah. Am I babbling here? You okay with this? See. I don't know. Let me go into a story. I think we have enough time. In my earlier years, I loved the centered character part, right? And I really was doing well with that. I was developing well. And I was using an upbeat of energy and a downbeat of energy. Now, just for the character, I wasn't including situation, really. Okay, just what we call the centered character. And that was coming along very well, very well. It was developing well, okay? And then one night I'm at the dojo by myself, and I'm playing with my favorite up and down beats and the ever-increasing enhancement of who I was with those up and down beats, okay? Who's that? Somebody's phone is ringing here. Turn that off. Oh, that's a house phone. Huh? Never use it. We have a house phone. I never use it. Anyway, I'm getting lost. Oh, so there I am in the dojo doing my favorite up and down beats that I'm really pretty good with. I'm doing well with it. And suddenly something began to change. And there was this extra energy. And it was like, I really got pissy. When energy comes around for me, my first thing is a power form of it. That's me. Okay, my thing. And it's like, what the hell's happening? I'm losing my beautiful up and down improvement beats, and something else is happening. Okay. Now I don't have it down pat at that time. I don't know what this is, but now I'd say, because one of the beats, one of the energy fields, the up and down energy field, was pretty good. The other energy field was trying to show it was there. We call it the circular situation. It was trying to show it was there. But that increase of energy, that suddenly the circle part's like, I'm here and I do it this way. It has a reverse on that spiral. Okay. I didn't know quite what it was, and it just really threw me and aggravated me because it was throwing me off. I wasn't able to sustain my beautiful up and down improvement factor. Yeah. So I don't know what I did the rest of the evening with it, but I eventually slowly began to figure this out. Okay, so I think the key point to get across is, as things move along, be prepared for an increase of energy For example, with the two fields of energy, okay, let's say you're more of a center type. Now, when the circular or situational field of energy kicks in, it doubles up. Could we say it doubles up? It's not just your character energy, but it's a situational energy, and there's an increase of energy. So you best be prepared to be open there, okay? Give yourself a bit more room. So easy, open, more room. We could continue that, make sure that's going on all along the way here, okay? So that you realize it's not tearing you apart. It just wants to show that it's there, and it's more juice than heretofore. In a certain way, you've doubled up, okay? Then if you continue to more original and do this properly, don't know what word to use, and the self starts to show, same thing will happen. There could be in the early stages before you realize it's a self just being bumped and you're being thrown off potentially. Okay, some people, yep. I think everyone should be prepared and open for it, because you want to recognize it sooner. Easy, don't panic. Something's going on here. Easy, a little more room, easy. And then the self will show that, hey, it's just me. I'm called self, and I'm here. And then the added juice of self enhances the juice of the two other fields that we started with. I sometimes call them A and B. Creates a good one, which connects doorways to self, which I call two. I'm trying to use numbers the way OSensei presented them to me. And then we know as we continue, we get to the 1, 2, 3, 4 of things, the bigger, finer, clearer of what circle is, and the design construct of creation. I said a lot. That I babble it out too weird?
I was going to say, could you go back over that last part there where we went from 1 to 2 to 4?
Okay. I use an A-B harmony. This is what we're laying out tonight. And the character, as we know, the body character, let's say, to the situation's energies back to the character and gets enhanced back to the situation. It's a potted plant setup. If I had my potted plant picture, do you have it, Lauren? Did you take it when you were here?
Yes, I'll bring it up. I'll find it.
Don't look for that picture. Lauren has it.
I'll find it. Just a moment, please.
That's okay. That's if you could. That's fine. Anyway, so the nutrients of the potted plant or circle part feed and enhance the plant or character. The plant again reaches out to the soil within that pot and boom, enhance till it's a mutual harmony of the nutrients of the soil and the plant, not just knowing there's energies, right, but the actual experience, the enhancement of the fullness of the character. So there's that 2 beat there in a potted plant form. Okay. Anyway, so you want to know about 1, 2, 3, 4. So I diverged, didn't I? Okay, so I use A, B for how we're starting. When they're unified, using that there, when they're unified, okay, I'm calling that unified one. I don't know what to call them. The real character, the proper character, or whatever you want to call them. But he's at the character lineage, okay? That character is 1. It's a doorway there to the underlying self that's there. 2. Okay, as we continue in more room where things can show themselves fuller and better, then potentially the finer of the circle will show, okay, or space, I guess we call it, will show, and the construct will want to show 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Lauren, you happy with that? Is that good enough for now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Ah. We'll go more into the 1, 2, 3, 4 and stuff to give you a heads up on it. And the domain, it's at what I call the domain level. Okay, this next major level I call domain. And the 1, 2, 3, 4 ought to show much better there how they relate, how they overlay, that should show much better in the domain. Okay. Okay. But let's sort of, I don't know what, wait till we get there. I don't know what words to use. So what we're doing now is setting it up to make a proper approach. Okay. So I'm saying again, the A, B, the two energy fields, we're using character in the situation, situation related to the character. That we need some harmony, a blended harmony, and I borrowed Moon's favorite phrase, unified field. And that unified field is nice all by itself. Okay, you're the person's in harmony with the situation supporting the person. Yes, yes, yes. That's real nice. But it's also a doorway. All right. So some people say, oh, this is nice enough. Leave me alone. I'm out of here. I got it. Others will be, no, there's something more. There's something more. And those are the people I would like to talk to. Okay. That's a doorway right there to the self that's there. I'm trying to give you a heads up again with certain things. When you reach that level and self begins to show, it might begin to show for some people like an extra boom of energy because it has its own energy, okay? Which may bump you and disturb you and sort of throw you off a little bit at first. But easy, don't panic. Easy, open, and it'll clarify itself, okay? Oh, potted plant. Yeah. Something like that. And anyway, thank you, Lauren. You can erase that one. Thank you. Thank you. That was cool. Potted plant. Okay. I'm all over the place. People, where are you? You following me in here? Two fields of energy.
Sensei, this is Justin. Something that you've been emphasizing along the way here is how critically important space, room is in this equation, because if there isn't an appropriate amount of space, the energies won't mix up and balance.
You can't see, you can't experience. Yeah.
It's to give them room to tell their story clearly.
Yeah.
Room is what
A real one-by-one type can really catch on to this. It's just too tight. Things are easy, settle, open, easy, settle, open. If the word more space helps, fine. Easy, settle, open. There is more space. Easy, easy, easy. Okay. When they put me in solitary confinement there for a little bit, I had to play that game of, more space, because the physical space was very tight. Different story. We won't get into that one, people. Anyway.
But as you're saying, and the energies of the intensity of the situation and character might be too big for mixing up properly without the room. It's situation and character, but
Yeah.
intensity also.
Yeah. And again, by law, at each level, they want to harmonize. That harmonization is an original way it was created. So that desire to harmonize exists all the way. What wing, ding, ding, ding. You know, when I was a kid, we'd pick up, we call them night crawlers, they're big worms that we pick up at night. And now and then you'd see them doing their thing, wrapped around each other. So this attraction to each other is all the way down the line. I got 2 doves I feed here every day, and it's 2, and they're buddies, you know. And the jays, 2. And he comes first for the food, she comes second. He's a bit pushy that way. But this attraction is a built-in thing. So character to situation, situation to character is built in by law. All we have to do is learn to ride it and not interfere and to experience it finer and finer. Really experience, not just know about. That's nice. Start you going. That's the library. Now we fun around a bit. That's the laboratory. Now we really begin to experience. That's the gymnasium, a la OSensei. Yeah. Let me tell you another story. These are example stories, right? Pre-Esalen, I continue to develop. I'm doing quite well, I think. My personal, and a little outer teaching, but I'm developing quite well. So what happens? Because I'm developing quite well, the Esalen happening, this bigger situation had to happen because I was going so well with this field of energy that this field of energy trying to balance out with it, boom, gave me a bigger venue other than my dojo and the locals, whatever. It was okay. It was fine. Good training ground. But then the Esalen thing had to happen. And it just happened. I didn't go hunting for it. I didn't go pounding on their door asking for a job. It happened. But in a certain way, it had to happen. Part of me was developing quite well. The other part wanted to say, oh, I'm a partner to that. Let me show myself. Let me be here. And there's Esalen. Did I present that story okay as an example story? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you used to say, get your inner thing together, your outer thing will take care of itself. And I have a whole bunch of similar things. And we were just talking with a guy who has just been invited to do some, does our consulting work, to do some work at Buckingham Palace. And they just called him and he said, all this stuff's been falling into place. I want to make sure I send him the video of this so he can refer to this part of it, because he was curious why it was happening. And I think you're talking about the exact.
Yeah, it sounds like, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah. Send me whatever is on there. And we can go either way on it. Better character and situation will begin to feed it. Or we can go situation, better character. It works both ways. Okay. Right. Yeah. So as the young man trains, plays ball and sandlot ball and just develop himself, it's not a surprise that the big leagues scout spots him and brings him to the big leagues. It's sort of almost bound to happen. Now, it'll happen better if we can activate. Don't know if that's the right word, because they're natural forces, but yeah, I'll be involved with them. Be involved with them. Let's use the word activate. Knowingly, experientially activating them. Boom, so it happens. Activate them so it happens. Yeah. I'm not versed on thinking your way to riches, but there's probably something in there that's very similar to this. There's a way of whatever their presentation is. It's an old, if people don't know the book, it's been on the bestseller list for 50 years or something. It's been around a long time, and still it's a great seller. But something about how to be so that, in this case, riches can come to you. Boom, boom. So there's some pattern in there that sure as hell is similar to our pattern. Just never got enough into the book to figure out their pattern. I was busy enough with my patterns. And blah, blah, blah. Stop me before I spout more. Where are we? Continue, Bob. What else you got to say here?
Sensei, I think the thing that you're identifying, which you've talked about before, including very recently, is when you sense an interruption in your pattern, whether it's the situation or the character or the unified field and the self, that when you sense that interruption, you want to recognize that for what it is, not as a bad thing, but as the more reaching out to you.
Yeah. And at first you don't know how it works. So when you get bumped, you get bumped. I'm telling you, that night in the dojo, and I'm happy with my up and down beats, and I'm doing fantastic with it. That we have an old time relationship there. Things are moving along great with it, and suddenly bump. And it was one of I'm getting knocked out of my basics. Something's happening. I don't know what it is, and it's stronger. And I get pissy when it's stronger. At first, I figure it out. So it's good to know that as you progress, don't be surprised by an increment of energy or a bump or what's your other word, Bob? A disturbance?
Yes, disruption. Yeah.
Disruption. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Easy. Don't panic. Better get a little more room there. Easy, easy. Don't panic. I'm just going to try to figure it out. Easy, easy. Easy, open, easy. Give it room to clarify. Give it room to clarify.
Sensei, one thing you've taught us that has been helpful to me my whole life is, yes, if you sense that disruption, recognize it for what it is, but you've also taught us to actually go out and invite it in on purpose. And when you can do that, it helps to minimize the disruption and smooth the progress a little bit.
I'm trying to remember when that first came up and how to say it a little bit better. For me, trying to remember. I guess it happened earlier in my career, where I'm okay with energies, certain energies I'm okay allowing. And then a different quality energy would show and bump me. Okay. And I got tired of being bumped. Okay. So I thought, well, maybe a good trick here is to be a little more open and with the sense of, hi, all the energies that would like to be here in my system, whatever I'd say in those days, please, I'm open for you today. Please be present. Hoping that by doing that, they wouldn't have to bump me unexpected when I wasn't ready for them, I thought, or they would catch me off guard, so to speak, that if they said, hey, welcome, that I would facilitate it bumped less.
Time, when you say welcome, they might like to just hang on.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Sensei, somebody's phone was open.
I'm sorry.
It was just noise.
Oh, just noise. Okay. No noise. I make enough noise here. Okay. So, harmony. Using the center and the situation, or the character and the situation, as two fields. Okay. We've played with some of this in different ways. We have a chanting form that we've played with. I think we did a ya-yi-ya-yi-ya-yi-yo. They're responding mommy moo memo till they felt experience more harmonious. Okay. Not just the listening for the harmony. That's part of it. That's part of the trip here. But the feeling of those as a vibration, could I say? Ya, you, yeah, yo. And feel it. Those are vibrations. Feel them. Mommy, moo, memo. In that one, the harmony felt more harmonious. They felt little better related. Okay. So we've done, so there's chanting from, we did ah to the o to the ah. We've used that. We're just playing with harmony. Okay. Movement forms. I'm doing one now. Situation energies in. Character is affected by those. Character is a little more, I don't know, let's say fulfilled. Let's say a little fuller. Fuller character, back to the outer. Outer, back to the inner. More fulfillment, more equalization, inner to outer, outer to inner. Again, similar to the potted plant thing. Okay. But I just don't want to keep the plant as separate from the soil nutrients of the pot. There's a place there where there's more sharing. Okay. It's as if, I don't know, is this right? Are we grinding up the plant, mixing it with the soil so it's all one thing? I don't know if that's right. I'm going crazy over here. Help. Where are we? Steve, I see your face. Say something. Semi-intelligent. Help me out here.
Oh, let me try. Well, I guess I worked today on that blend of character and situation, which by opening it up more fully, it's exactly what you said. Self starts to show. It just naturally. I wasn't looking for self. I was just, processing character, processing situation, allowing those to just mix. And it's like the sun peeping through the clouds. It just starts to show itself naturally.
Yeah. And maybe I like the way you said it. Maybe at first peeps through the clouds before it's a full presentation of self. So to recognize that peeping instead of what is that disturbing my nice game I've got going here? What's that thing peeping over my shoulder? Like easy, open, continue, and the fuller of it gets to show, and you recognize that. Oh yeah, that's self. Okay. It'll in some form name itself in the beginning. Okay. But you now know it's there, so you know what it is, who it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's there within itself alive. So we've got this field of energy, that field of energy, harmonized. There's your doorway. Then you got the self that's there with its even finer, better energy, could I say? And it enhances character in the situation in the character. It enhances. And that's what I've been hoping that autumn catches fairly clear, because I think that could be the thing. Yeah, autumn. Yeah, the thing.
You said something a little bit before where you were. Maybe I just didn't hear it clear enough, and it almost sounded like like you were connecting space, which I always tend to start with before I even do anything.
A little more room. A little more room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
But-
not. Maybe let's not give a little more room the designation of the great space, one of the great four. Maybe let's not do that yet so fast, but a little more room, a little more room. And if it turns into a more original space, fine. But I don't think we got to make it that this is the more original space. It's a little early. I'm not going to do with that. But a little more room, easy.
It's just setting the stage for the character and the situation to blend with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. In its childish form, it's just a little more room. Eventually, it probably is the great granddaddy of space. But you don't have to jump to the great granddaddy. Play it where you're at. A little more room here, a little more room. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Must be a better way of saying that, but I thought that wasn't too bad.
Sensei, the other day, I asked if you would please distinguish between space and situation.
Space is space and situation is situation. Space is space. It's its own thing. Situation is situation. It's its own thing. I don't know how to distinguish. I'm not sure. Ask me again. I'm kind of dumb. Remember?
It seems
Go
like
ahead.
it seems like situation is a kind of external environment, circumstances that you find yourself.
It exists in a space, but I exist in a space. The plant over there exists in a space. The couch exists in the space. There is space. And space is its own thing, and much more than we know. Oh yeah, space, more room. Get my measuring yardstick out here. Yes, more room. I got it. We're going to head towards a more earlier presentation, a more original sense that space has with itself as one of the big four. Okay. So watch out for the human. Oh yeah, space. Oh yeah, they get the telescope and they see into more space. Yeah. All that's going on within the space. Okay. So I'm just not sure if you're looking and playing with space Yeah, space. Yeah. See, you might lean that way because you sent me those nice pictures of the universe as they're able to take newer pictures these days. I'm saying, yeah, it's big and it's interesting and beautiful, but the space I'm talking about is this inner sense experience of space, of which all of that is contained within. At this level, the space that's contained within the great space is the space of my living room here, this space. But if you give me a telescope, no. One of the big scopes and I see space, that's contained within the big space. So I'm not sure how you're approaching me on it. I'm not sure how I'm hearing it. When you get to the domain area, in more room, by using the 1 of character fully and the 2 of self, it should after a bit open up even more, or the other pieces want to present. You get 1, 2, 3, and 4 will want to present. Okay. And then hanging out, experiencing what space is experiencing. Not this outer space. Let's see. There's Saturn over there. What's it experiencing? There's something different. Inner. And space is aware, experiencing itself as space. Okay. The other one, the construct, the design, it's experiencing itself as the design part of creation. Okay. Those aren't my major. My majors has been the 1 and 2. You want to talk about 3 and 4, talk to Jack. Jack loves 3 and 4. But to continue with this, he's practicing with the 1 and 2, so he can do what we're doing. If he does what we're doing, then his relationship, his pleasant relationship, his interest in 3 and 4 will start to shine. But he has to 1 and 2 a bit to get through this that way. 1 and 2, self, and 3 and 4 will enhance him at a domain level, but we're getting too far ahead now. Don't want to lose you, throw too much out at you. Let's be happy. Are you okay, Lauren? If you're not tough, talk to me tomorrow over coffee. You're buying. So tonight, character and situation and character as energy field, not just the idea. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm trying to speed things up. I'm feeling people want to move along, want to get into more original. Okay. And for example, the sense of situation, let's use a martial art kind of setup for those of you who do Aikido, for example. Okay, here's a situation. Oh my God, that guy's got thick wrists and hell of a big biceps. And that guy over there, he's long. He's got reachability. Oh my, what should I do here to cope with that? You ain't got time. OSensei didn't do that. Okay, said, I'll say it my way. Situation, energy field, bing, and the character equal to it, bang. And this harmony, plus the self and all that, OSensei's level, boom, things will just happen. Okay. But I want to get away from too much, what I call it, itemizing. Or there's a situation, and in that situation, my shoulder twitches up. In that situation, my jaw gets tighter. In that situation, my heart beats a little faster. In that, I'm tired of all the details. Okay, most of you want to cut to the chase. All right, so we played with some of the details. Okay, just give you a sense of how it works at level 1 and level 2 and Robert's level and how Nadeau is better than Robert. Enough. More original. Bing. It's kind of a different take. We've done improvement to get a flavor of it, to practice experiencing for one thing. Okay, but now let's cut to the chase, my words. More original. Of course, it's interior sensing. Okay. And we brought you to a place here with this harmony of these two forces, which every day we're involved with. Okay. Harmony or unified field is a doorway. Underlying the doorway is a self that enhances the character situation set. Okay. So I thought that itself was a pretty good piece of work. Did I get lost myself? Did I misunderstand it? Help. TJ, you haven't said anything. Where the hell are you tonight?
I'm just paying attention here. I think if I was going to say something about this, it would be to hearken back to the word harmony,
Mhm.
because I think you've laid out, and I'm pretty sure folks at this point have a good sense of what the situation is and what the character is, but the experience of harmony, that's I think that's what you're really pointing to, because that's the actual focal point. That's the vortex in which the potential transformation can take place.
Yeah.
So the experience of harmony and what that actually is, not even so much as a feeling, because we talk about feeling a lot, but as a
Idea, feeling,
feeling,
finer, sensing, sense feeling, experience, experiential.
Can I
Yeah.
write that down?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the experience of harmony, um, we can talk a lot about it, but
Yeah.
it's that deep felt sensing that is the actual
Yeah.
the portal
Yeah.
that you've been talking about. You talked about the gateway, but by any word, whether it's portal or gateway.
Yeah, whatever word you like right there, right? Portal, gateway, opening, window. I'm sure that all those words have been used and a dozen more.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. So that,
Well, for instance, for me in improvisation, and this can also happen certainly in like randori or jiwaza in that context, but in improvisation, for me in playing, there's a whole way that I drop under the cognitive thinking about the scale that I'm playing, thinking about what I'm going to do next. None of that exists in the deeper improvisation. I'll just bet that Autumn, in her acting, gets into that zone from time to time too, and others of us on the call each has their own gift or their thing that they're developing or have developed their lineage.
the word zone is good because
Yeah.
it's a known word in the athletic. Oh, the quarterback. Whoa, he was in the zone today, man. He could hardly do any wrong. He
Yeah,
just
that's right.
spotted them and it went to them. He was in the zone.
In the zone, yes. And you can't
He wasn't
make
thinking,
yourself
trying to
go.
figure out and trying to whatever. He was at a certain level.
Yeah,
And at the level, words like that tend to come up. He's in the groove. He's in the zone. He's in the flow. Whoa. Yes. Steps along the way. Very good. Continue.
you can't make that happen as a top down, but you can help to set up, like what we're doing here. You can set up the conditions in which it potentially shows. It potentially, that mix, that experience of harmony is taking place.
Yeah.
So you can be sure then your quarterback example that he's not thinking if I only just drop in I can get into the zone. He's miles away from that. He's already deeper in his own experience of the harmony of the situation that he's in, and then the character just gets into his zone, and use any example that you want to do, or sports or
Isn't it with a little practice? The one by
Yes.
by thing, a little practice. After a while, the zone is much closer. Boom.
Yes, yes. The practice again sets up the conditions. It doesn't create the harmony. It sets up the conditions for the harmony. I mean, that's the distinction.
So you're not interfering with it. You're not interfering with the
Yes,
speed
you're
of
not.
it, the nowness, here-ness of it. Yes.
That's right. That's kind of how. That's what I would.
Practice is like cutting away all the dumb interfering shit that we do.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, at the beginning, whether that's on the Aikido mat or in the practice room, yeah, you can start, you're playing you got to develop certain essential skills until they're embedded, until they're embodied. You don't have to think about them after that. You can spend some time from time to time uh, checking in with that, but that's not the emphasis. The emphasis is not the better Nikio from a million repetitions. So that whole thing that you remember how we used to talk about the 10,000 repetitions to gain mastery, and kind of the fallacy of that. 10,000 repetitions, then you're a master of something. You
No,
have
and after 10,000 reps, your body's totally collapsing. It doesn't work. You can't throw another pitch.
That's
You
right.
you can't move your wrist anymore. Your knees are out.
Your knees are done. Definitely. No, that doesn't mean that setting up the foundation with good skill practice isn't necessary. But at a certain point, if you just only focus on the skill there, you're
I call that extrinsic work.
Thank you.
And
Good-
using the
good term.
extrinsic to value yourself, to register yourself.
Yes.
I get a stronger technique. I must be a better person. Whoops, now we're in trouble. Now we're in trouble.
And why hasn't Sensei given me the rank, right? Because I'm so much better now.
Oh, sad, yeah. Oh,
Good. Thanks. That's what I had to contribute.
thank you. Okay, where the hell are we? But again, to play, again, they use those Sensei's word. I laid out some of the library part of it. Now, laboratory is where you play in some form this sense of energy field. It looks like a body. I treat it like a body, and yes, okay. But now, let's move faster or better, easy, more open. It's an energy field. Well, at first, all my senses are, no, it's a body. Yeah, of course, at first. Energy field. This is an energy field related to situational energy field. Little, what, really? But there was also something there, some bit of a touch on a touch. And I continue, I'm in the laboratory and I'm practicing, I'm funning around. Till the laboratory becomes the actual more experienced gymnasium, where it's, whoa, wow, where it's an experience, a finer dimensional level sense experience. I don't know how to say it any better. If you don't practice or play, take advantage of laboratory time, then this is just a lecture series, and that kind of gets to be kind of bullshit after a while. What are you going to do with it? Broaden your mind, read a book. They'll express it in much finer language than Nadeau ever will. You got to play, you got to fun around, you got to experiment. Okay. You see me light up when certain people present me with their examples of the week, and it's very obvious they've been playing and experimenting and mulling and playing and experimenting, and I light up. Yes. Yeah. Hi, Tom. How you doing? I saw your face. I said, hi, Tom.
Oh, hi, Sensei. How are you? Thank you.
Uh,
I'm just sitting here and listening to Tisha and what you're saying, and it just comes to the realization that in this bigger space, this bigger universe, we really only know 5% of what's out there. Even with the big telescopes exploring as far as they are, we still only know 5%.
We're lucky if we know 5%, but son of a bitch is big.
It's good enough.
Yeah, now, how big it is.
Yeah. And I mean, the harmony is knowing that we're still connected to everything that's unseen and unknown. And it just gives a sort of grounding that I don't need to know everything. I don't, to be in harmony with the space I'm in or in harmony with the situation. I don't need to have it all examined and figured out and lined up.
But also, isn't in the experience of it also the knowledge is aware of itself? It experiences itself. It's aware of itself. The intelligence that's inherently there at any piece can be experienced. Didn't Einstein do that? He experienced what he was studying or his lineage, his job. He experienced it. Okay.
That's the harmony.
Yeah. Yeah. And people misconstrue and say, oh, what a big brain he had. And he very clearly said, that's not the thing here. It's not my big brain. It's this, what we're talking about, this ability to experience. So that was his area of experiencing. Yeah. And we all have the capability of experiencing something at finer levels. Okay. So I'm not going to try to be Einstein. Okay. That was his route. I'm not going to try to pick up the guitar and learn a bunch of stuff. That's that other guy. What's his name? Tija? That's his thing. I got my thing. My thing. Okay. And we'll get into that too. I'll throw you a new word one day. But how would Sensei say me? Sensei inferred how personal this trip becomes. That you've got your, I don't know the words here right now, personal style, your personal colorings. I have presented that in the past, that your mixture of colors is different than my mixture of colors. But how the colors work or how to open to them now, that's something that's similar all around. The colors you'll get are your colors. Okay. So I tell people when I play with more energy, Tom, you remember I do the monster form, more energy. And I'm sure that scares people. And I have to instantly now I've learned to say, that's me, that's me. Yours might be more loving or more caring or more awareness. Mine is first. And I enjoy it. I showed you my beloved woodblock print here of Goro uprooting the bamboo. I love that shit. That's me. Okay. All right. And I know it's gross at level, but the essence of it, the power of creation. Wow. And the ability of experiencing some of it and continuing to get to the original source of all power at the beginnings of creation. That's really what I'm doing. Don't mind the at first. I'm just trying to show something. Yeah. I'm getting carried away tonight. Tom, you got anything more here intelligent?
No, I also think the chanting that you introduced to us and it gives us that ability to connect with, go beyond what we are so, how do you say this? Go beyond the words, go beyond the mundane and connect with something that's bigger and greater within and without. So I think those,
yeah,
the center of the circle.
If we just stay with the words, it came up on T-shirt. Excuse me, I'm practicing dying. Okay. We all agree, or most everybody would agree on harmony. Oh, yes, there should be more harmony. Oh, I believe in harmony. I love the idea of harmony. And they're talking about it. Okay. Nice idea. Now let's sit, settle, open. Okay. And you may have a different style than sitting, but I'm using me right now. Settle, open, and begin to actually experience what is harmony, the actual experience of it. And in the fuller experience is the fuller, more knowledge about, probably not the right phrasing, more knowledge about harmony. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the important part. And that's where a lot of people don't go to. they stay in the words, the idea, whatever, that's fine. It's a fine starting place. But they stay there. And that starts to bother me. We're not going to get anywhere if you stay there talking more words. Okay? And get other people to agree with your words. Don't you believe harmony is great? Yes, I believe harmony is great. Well, let's start a We Believe Harmony is Great club. And we'll talk more about harmony. If nothing happens, it's okay, but not for me, not for Tom. Yeah. So experience, idea, feeling, finer feeling, more open room to facilitate, easy the eye to facilitate. So more experience can happen. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
Sensei, I have something to share.
who dat?
This is Linda Morris.
Who?
Linda Morris.
Linda? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I spoke to my granddaughter today. I'm thinking that sometimes these things happen even unaware that they're happening, right? And so she was on her, she's been on a campaign today to go interview for new jobs. And she got rescheduled for one at 8 o'clock this morning. And she's not an 8 o'clock in the morning person. She got there and waited 20 minutes for the person to show up, and then they didn't show up. And she said, I wouldn't want a job at that place. And right then and there, she realized what she wanted, that they need to want her, and that what she needed in a job. So she went to the next interview, and she was so confident and so turned on by the confidence that she had gained, that she just breezed through that one, and they wanted her, but she told them, I'm going to another interview, and they were impressed even with the fact that she was that much of a go-getter. So when I spoke to her, she was on her way to her third interview of the day, and she was so jazzed, and she was so up, and she was so turned on by all that had happened. I just feel like this is sort of an example of what you're describing. Am I right?
Yeah. And we don't know sometimes how things happen. For example, the person you're supposed to meet not being there was just the situation saying, no, honey, we don't want you here, really. I don't know how some of those little details work. Okay. But there is a relationship between character and situation and character that is by law trying to work better and better. So all we're trying to do is line up to get more involved, to get involved at finer levels with this natural happening thing. So to come into the actual physical world, and did that mean that was happening? There are certain levels of that. I don't know. If the blind date I was set up to go on, which is not yesterday, I'm married, right? Blind date I was set to go on, and she cancels for some reason. Does that mean I wasn't supposed to meet her? I'm meant for somebody else? And that was a sign from God that it wasn't her? You have your soulmate out here someplace else? I don't know. I don't know. But let's get more in harmony with this, how this works, so that things that happen are clearer and fuller and faster and obvious as hell kind of thing. Okay? So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Sensei, if I can speak up for Linda's granddaughter, she seems to be actually following exactly what you've been describing tonight.
Okay.
She was in a situation, her character responded, she didn't like the way she was treated, and she understood something about herself that she didn't want that kind of job, and that empowered her.
Okay, so that beat, just that right beat right there was an improvement of her, where she felt empowered. Good, good. You're on a roll here, Lauren. Go.
Well, we would call it self-knowledge. She realized what she didn't want, and that helped her find what she wanted and give her the strength, the doubling up of energy, right, that carries her through the other interviews as Linda described. I think that the key point was that the situation she found herself in a situation that she had a visceral dislike, and she recognized it, and she suddenly knew that about herself, and that was empowering, I think. I wasn't there, but that's how I heard the story. And it fits exactly with what you've been talking about tonight. So thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Okay, we're edging. Susan, I haven't heard from you. You on, Susan? Are you stuck in the snow someplace?
She's here.
She's here?
She's online, at least.
Susan, say something. Come on, you can do it.
I am in the snow. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
We hear you, Susan.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
You following our conversation okay here? In the healing field that's fit into the
Yes, I
healing
am.
field? Say what? Did we lose it?
She said she's following it, but now we haven't.
No, yeah. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I think what Lauren pointed out with Linda's granddaughter was really good. And that happens in the clinic where, the situation patient will present itself or present themselves. And I, as a character, respond to and with that situation. And like somebody else pointed out earlier, the more I open up the space, the more that situation can clarify.
Clarify, yeah. Let me maybe paraphrase what she's saying. So Susan, now getting the ability of the work we're doing with a patient, first, of course, you see the obvious, the physical ailments, whatever. But in the opening, finer dimensional sensing that the situation that the person is in will start to show to Susan. Okay. So Susan, I'd say psychically, but there'll be, because you're in finer and you're allowing this picture yourself first, and then the patient, situations will often show to her, showing why this person is this way or doing that or having that problem. Is that I paraphrase you okay, Susan? Sort of?
You did.
Okay.
Very well. Yeah.
So in working with young children, what are we talking about here, Susan? 3-year-olds, 2-year-olds, whatever. They can't talk about their problems very clearly, right? But in this ability that she's getting and improving on weekly, yes, this unfolds. This becomes very clear that there's an availability of seeing, sensing, experiencing things that the child is experiencing the child in their situation is experiencing from the situation. And in some cases, the confusion of self, potentially, of self's little confusion, which is adding to the screw ups here. Wow. Just said a lot there, people.
Yes. And what's really important that I'm learning to be better and better at is not getting caught up in looking at the situation or trying to figure the situation out.
Yeah.
Or trying to look too hard. Sometimes
Let
I
it
get caught in a little
unfold.
bit in the
You kind of like feel it, experience it, let it unfold a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really important.
Yeah.
And the more I trust that will happen, the more it does happen. But if I get caught up in looking for things or listening for things, that really stops that process.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember, we're still sort of in the human condition, so the potential for I gotta know, I gotta grab onto something distinct is potentially always there. Easy. We're doing it different now. Easy. Yeah. So you don't try to glom anymore.
Yeah.
Let it in the opening, let it clarify, give it room. Yeah. You can even dialogue with it because everything's intelligent. Say, could you clarify that? I sort of saw something, but I wasn't sure what I saw. Please clarify it, which saves me a lot. I got to figure that out. A little bit of that, but let it unfold, let it clarify, let it name itself, let it whatever. It's part of the game. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Oh.
Thank you, Sensei.
Susan, Susan?
Yes.
Should we bring up this new thing that just happened?
Not yet.
Okay. A mystery to present one day.
Such a tease. Such a tease.
I know. She always was. Anyway, okay, we're reaching the end here. I smell dinner cooking. Where are you at, people? Finishing up here. What you got?
This is Justin. I just want to jump in with one more thing real quick because it's been gnawing at me, but you guys were just talking about it. This idea of dialoguing from a sense feeling or sensing level and allowing the energies to tell more about themselves, reveal their story, to go through some depth with them a little bit. That this is very interesting what's coming through. I sense, feel, whatever. Oh, tell me more about that. Elaborate. How else would you describe yourself? Given more room, how do you line yourself up? What else would you say? How can you rephrase what that is? So maybe I can line up to that in a way that is more familiar to me.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, good. Yeah. No, there's always more. We have to learn a couple of tricks to continue with more. I was just thinking, for a quick example, I think of what you said, when I was a dog whisperer, talk to dogs, I had that capability for a while. I had a lot of different capabilities along the way here. That was one of them. And people used to, I belonged to the Pyrenees Club, so at first a lot of Pyrenees people would call me and hearing I could talk to the dog. And one dog was not getting along well with the owner. And I said, what's up to the dog? And the dog said, and he's got this collar, one of those electronic collars where you can zap the dog from across the block or something. And the guy was overusing it. And the dog, knowing there was a relationship between this collar and that guy, his owner, was starting to get a little pissy about it. But I didn't continue. I just said, oh, it's pretty good information. I pass it on to the guy. Stop it with the collar bullshit, right? But I didn't continue it and say, by the way, how would you relate better with your owner? Just in general, how would you relate better? What would make for a better relationship? I didn't go there. I could have, I just didn't think to do that. I was happy that I could get the owner to stop zinging him all the time. But there's more, there's more, there's more. All right. But we tend to get a nice piece of information, we get results, and we're satisfied there. Yes, of course. But someplace file away, and there is more, and there is more. I know I'm a pain in the ass to people because they get sort of comfy, and I come up kind of immediately and say, there's more. And they say, Jesus, leave me alone. Let me hang here for a while. Yes, you're allowed to. But if you're hanging there for year after year after year at that same level, what a shame. What a shame. So yes, there's always more, finer, whatever. Yes. Thank you for reminding me about that story. People finishing up? Anything? Any quickie on this layout of harmonizing the two fields of energy? Anything that clarified anything for you just with that? Situation, character, situation as energy fields. Finer feeling, sense feeling, the actual energy harmony of that. Anything that zinged you?
Hi, Sensei. This is Andrew.
Andrew.
Not too sure if this is related, but I recently picked up improv theater.
I read your thing, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And one of the things that they teach us is it's a concept called yes and basically what it means is whatever your partner in that scene is doing, you simply just accept it and you harmonize with them. Yeah. It's best, in fact, they hammered in that it's best to simply accept what they give.
That sounds like a very good short presentation of what we're trying for. Situation, maybe changes, just be okay with it to start this harmony potential going.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my journey has been just doing this concept of just accepting and harmonizing. I found myself sometimes like I would intentionally, I don't like that harmonize. I don't like what my partner's, doing. I'll change it a certain way. And then I would go back realizing, I should just harmonize and stuff. And it's been a very good journey, just kind of, whatever the situation is. If it requires me to be a father, a pet, or whatever the scene requires.
It's good practice. Yeah, good practice. Yeah, I don't care for that situation particularly, but for practice, let me see, boom, bang, bang, boom. Let me see what happens if I just practice with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. 8 o'clock, I'm out of here. Thank you, people.
Thank you, Sensei.
Hope you got something out of this.
Thank you,
Sensei.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, Sensei.